year. A message for you, my friend. Says God. Your angels. When pressure drop. Hey, everybody. Hold on. I gotta get my tea. World off your shoulders. Foot in the grave. Foolish step to take. Sowing tears shall reap in joy. Oh yeah, it's on. Okay. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Chant A Psalm A Day. We are here again. My Harriet Tubman pin. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Chant A Psalm A Day. Oh my gosh, we are here again today. Yep. We are here again today. I got my Harriet Tubman pin right here. I don't know why my phone is sliding off this thing. See, it's sliding because it don't have those things to keep it there. Okay. But I wanted to show you all my Harriet Tubman pin. Amanda Seals. Yes. I got a big up to Amanda. Small doses. Join the Seal Squad. So, yeah, on my channel, I'm going to big up our queen, other queens that are doing things in the world, spreading truth and spreading love and spreading goodness and mercy and all the stuff that I talk about on this channel. So, welcome, El Sue. You are at the top of you are here as I begin. Happy Saturday. Thanks for joining. Greetings of love and wellness with massive gratitude for the Most High daily. We are here again. I am pleased to announce you in the room. Thanks so much. Let me get this situated. Okay. Yep. And for liking the video, I thank you for that. Liking the video, thanks so much. Oh my goodness. I have my hot tea right here. Let me get myself together. How is everybody today? In the chat, tell me where you're watching from. Where are you watching from, Terrifier? Where are you watching from, my friend? Travis, in the room. Travis, how are you doing, my friend? How you doing, Travis? So as you know, I'm doing a hair treatment. So my hair treatment is aloe. It's aloe vera. I clip the ends and I clip the split ends, and I cut my own hair basically to cut the split ends out. So yeah, so I am in a hair treatment with that, and I'm glad that I can wrap my hair with that. So England, India, thank you. Oh my goodness, I have some folks all the way from India, Florida in the house. Hey Vincent, hi Arab, how are you? Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining Chant A Psalm A Day, though, for real, real, real. Yeah, look at that. For real, real, real. That was interesting. But I wanted to start off by giving thanks for this day and for I have some notes because I gotta you know talk about what's going on in the world because what's happening in our world is a direct relation to ourselves. We are impacted by these things, right? Very much so. So because of that, what do we do? We got to stay on the good side, y'all, the good side. So thank you for joining Chanta Samade and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here, um, and being part of something that I feel is a movement of kindness. So that movement of kindness begins with each one of us. I tell my son that all the time. You got to look at yourself. You got to look at yourself. You got to look at yourself. Start with you first. It's important. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my goodness. Hot tea is good. Check out my video yesterday. I made a smoothie. And making a smoothie yesterday was amazing. Because it really shows a little bit about me. It shows what I, prefer to eat, what I prefer to have inside of my body, and what I prefer to have around me in my space. So,
If the herbs are for healing, when did it change from the herbs to a carcinogenic chemical? And why? I was arrested. Why was I arrested? Because of the same thing that probably Jesus was hung for, defending what is called righteousness. You could be right, but you could also be dead right. You see?
so I played that. So look, check that video out. Check that video out. It's got about 500 views on that video. Yes, ma'am. 500 views. I'm in a pink outfit, and yeah, that is yeah, eating to live to love. That's the title of the video. Eating to live to love. So you want love in your life. Everybody was all Valentining yesterday, loving this, Valentining, dinner, sex, and lies. And I always say when people begin a relationship with a lie, it's not going to last. Lies don't last. So building something on a lie is like building something on a sand. It's going to just whoosh away with the water. So when you eat now to live, you're going to be able to love, right? So that is important. So I had a 505 views on that video yesterday. Okay. So my videos, tune in. Thank you for liking this video. Oh my gosh. And for tuning in and for being part of this community. It's becoming a community and it's becoming amazing. I love it. So this video that I played is called Urgent. Nobody is prepared for this. Wake up, people, Dr. Sabi. And it's about what are you eating? And people have gotten to the point where they've given up on themselves, given up on their health, and just said, throw the towel in. I'm going to die anyway. Let me just eat what I want, right? That's not going to be the case because sufferation and suffering is a real thing. And people get up in age and the things that they've done in their life returning to them in that physical being, that physical state. So in order to have a good ending, you have to have a good beginning. So, beginning with a lie is going to end in destruction. So, beginning with the truth and eating foods that's not foolish, but that is going to generate life within you is better for you. Okay. So, what's happening? Josh, hi, Josh. Oh, well, there's so many things that you can communicate with. Arab, please don't be asking questions about things that are not pertaining to, that's what you're asking about, is, I tell you the truth. People are very into the flesh. They're into the flesh. Everything is the physical. They're, farting, burping. They don't say excuse me. They just, people are just into flesh, and they're just sometimes can be rude. So within that, you want to be lifting folks up that are being, into their flesh and being rude and coming at you in certain ways. Okay. So thank you, Josh, for joining. Hi, Josh Cavazos. What questions? T-Man, you have questions? Vincent, thanks for joining. What's happening? I don't see the questions. I'm just looking at them now. I'm burning my sage. Go ahead. Respectfully, why the flag? How are you? Why the flag? That is another entire story. Hi, Lazarus Project. Welcome to Chant A Psalm A Day. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. And thank you for your questions. Okay. I'm going to take note of these questions. Why the flag? I'll have a video about the flag. Let me make a note of that. Where's my notepad? You're asking about the flag. Why the flag behind me? Okay. What else? Other questions do we have? You're burning your sage and sap. Yep, I have my sage right here. It's a little bit left. There it is. So, yep, I burn my sage. Sandalwood, not necessarily, but the sage, definitely. So, with the sage, I burn the sage for the, negativity. Things that are negative, quarrelsome, strife, all that gets, like, exasperated out with the, sage. Many people can't come around this because they're just negative. They're just harboring, they're harboring some things that are not good, in other words. So, this tea is really good. And then we're talking about Rasta. We'll talk about that another time. People want to know if I'm a Rasta, what am I? People want to box you into something because that's the human brain. The human brain, wants to put everything in this, labels so that it can be safer. People feel safer when they know who you are, right? I guess. So I'm prefacing the psalm with all this, and I wanted to begin with the weather. And thank you all for telling me where you're watching from. Yeah, people can be generally curious too. Yeah, that's right, the Lazarus Project. But I wanted to begin with the theme today. Ooh, look at my sage is burning now. It's burning now. put it over here. I wanted to start off with the theme today. I don't even know what the psalm is today, y'all. Let me look at my list. It's 88, Psalm 88. It is I cry out day and night before righteousness. So the psalm today, 88, is crying out before righteousness and goodness. And the reason for crying out could be a lot of things. When people cry out to the Lord, or they are crying out to, Jesus for help, like help me out of this financial struggle, help me out of this relationship. I have something on my, help me out of this struggle. That could be taxing to a person, having to, be struggling with things that are, let me go up a little bit higher, struggling with things that could be hard. And crying out to righteousness is the final thing to do, is to look above. And oftentimes people wait for things to happen. They don't look for what's above. They look for other people. And these other people they may find may be demonic. Just saying, they may be demonic, because when you don't seek for what's above, you're going to fall for what's below. And that seems to be what's happening. The flag behind me, I will do another video of that. You have to subscribe to this channel. You have to like the video because I'm making a list. I'm going to do another video to talk about the flag, because people ask about this flag. This flag is not being used anymore. It is the Ethiopian flag, but it's not what is being used right now. Thank you, Lazarus. You liked and you subscribed. Thank you. Let's put a heart in the chat for Lazarus Project. Woo! Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking this video. And one day I will send you my miracle oil so you can try it out. It is amazing. Oh my goodness. It's amazing. This miracle oil is just, oh my goodness. I mailed a bunch out. Yesterday or the day before. So I have a few left that we're going to be bottling some more up. So stay tuned. It's a lot of good things happening in this movement of goodness, mercy, love, and righteousness. It's a movement of righteousness. It's a movement to self-reflect, to look at ourselves and see how we can be better with ourselves so we can be good with other people, right? Yeah, this oil is, oh my goodness. It is amazing. So, you know how people, when they get older, they get this neck gets thing. This oil does wonders for that. It defies the aging process. It rejuvenates the cells. Thank you so much, the Lazarus Project, for that kindness. Putting in the chat. We want to send some love to you in the chat. Thank you, El Sue. Miracle oil on the move. It's on the move. It's moving. It's moving through creation. I'm telling you. So thank you all so much. I'm going to have to take a trip to San Antonio, Texas, because I have some of my oils there being tested. In Baltimore there with you, El Sue. I got to get there with you. And we have a lot of outlets that is ready for the oil. You're 38. Oh my gosh. You're a baby still. 38 is just a baby. Anytime you're after 40 or after 50, you should have learned some things. You should have learned some things. So, in the theme today, we're talking about, who are you crying out to? Who are you looking for to help? Are you looking for others to help you, or are you calling on something greater and higher than what is out there in terms of, humanity? Humanity, um, oftentimes we find that, you can cry to a friend and, you can tell your friend secrets, but then they know where they know your secrets now. It's only your friends know your secrets. So you have to be careful who you bring into your circle as your friend and your confidant. And with that being said, Psalm 88 gives us a really good foundation into looking at um, who are we serving? Who do we cry out to? Who are you crying out to? So we have a lot of things going on now. I'm going to unpack based on what we see here. We have weather that's going on. You can cry day and night about that. The weather sweeping the east. We have flash floods and mudslides in the west. Federal workers were fired. And then the firings were put on hold, and then the firings, employees were called to return security badges, and they were giving access again. So when we look at the crying out, these people are crying out. The federal workers are crying out for their job. People crying out for their homes being flash floods in California. First it was fires, now it's floods. Now it's this, right? And then we have planes. Planes are falling out the sky. People are losing family members. Hi, Daniel. How are you, Daniel? Thanks for joining Chant A Psalm. And thank you so much for liking the video, for subscribing. Lazarus just subscribed and liked the video. Join him or her in that good behavior. Thank you, Daniel, for joining. The topic today is, who do you cry out to day and night? Who are you crying out to? I am great. I'm here. I'm alive. I am giving thanks for this day. So that's our theme today. Our topic today is about, who are you crying out to? What do and ultimately that's about who you're serving. Who do you give the power to? In other words, who you giving that power? Who you give that power to? Who are you giving your power to? Are you giving it to the one who got the power, or are you giving it to the one who you just in love with? You fell in love with. Don't fall in love, better stand in it. Daniel. Okay. Daniel, thank you so much for sharing that you are crying for those people who don't understand love. Exactly. How the world loves, let them love how they love. The world is going to love in the way they loved yesterday, and then today they're fighting with each other. That's just how the world's love is. I don't want love from this world. I don't want the Valentines. I don't want all of this stuff. It's meaningless unless you have meaning in righteousness, goodness, mercy, and love. You can buy me Valentine's gifts all day long, but guess what? If you ain't fulfilling your purpose to love and eat to live, you're destroying yourself and other people around you. Okay? So I don't do the Valentine's. I don't do the Christmas on December 25th. I do it a whole different thing. I do not follow these worldly, holidays. And people, thank you, Lazarus. People said that they would buy me. I've had people who have bought me Valentine's stuff when I told them I don't celebrate that, but they still were kind enough to do that. That is really amazing. Daniel, are you being nice? Be nice, Daniel, in the lion's den. Okay. The other reason people cry out day and night is because the Pope got the flu. The Pope is 88 years old. 88 years old, and he's got the flu. There is a flu high levels of the flu according to the CDC. There's high levels of the flu. I mean, it's so high that they have. It's so high. I gotta get a tissue. Oh my! All right, something is not. It's so high that they have outlined the states where the high levels of the flu is located.
You think that's too much smoke?
Let me see.
It's like it's burning. And then you think you could trade them plastic bottles and get money?
Do they say that on the bottle? See if there's a redemption thing on the bottle. What is Lazarus saying? The last king of Judas. Okay. Okay, that's a lot of. Okay, let's breathe. We have to breathe in order to be able to allow our brain to get oxygen, right? And our brain getting oxygen helps us to make good decisions. So let's breathe. Daniel, Lazarus, be love. That's what beloved come from. Beloved, you're being loved. So you are beloveds. So the high levels of the flu, according to the CDC, the high levels of the flu, according to the CDC, is in New Jersey, Delaware, DC, Maryland, okay, the Delmarva area, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Ohio, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. There is a high level of the flu in these areas, very high level. So I'm crying out to the righteousness of righteousness, the ancients of ancients, the Isla of Isla. You call Holy of Holies. I say Isla of Isla. I'm calling out to that because of the disease that's happening. People are getting the flu, right? People are getting the flu and these things. People are getting sick. We got all this stuff going on. So in order to maintain your health, that's wealth. Because if you're sick, how are you going to work and make money? So your health is your wealth. So that's where I come in. I am going to show you how you can tap into your powers by empowering your intake of what you eat, what you look at, what your pastimes, what do you spend your time doing? How are you moving in your purpose? How are you moving in your purpose? So, when we talk about the theme today, and the theme today is about, Psalm 88. And it's interesting because the Pope is 88, and it's the Psalm 88 today. So, lift up, people who are ill and suffering. And I ask that, the hungry be fed, the naked clothed, the sick is nourished, the elders are protected, the infants are cared for, and the animals are loved. That's basically a communication to God, to righteousness, to the most almighty one. And when we're praying, we are talking to that righteousness. So instead of using the word, I am praying, I am a pray, it has that same sound. So it's going to reverberate through creation in that way. And guess what? You're putting yourself as a prey. So I am going to talk to righteousness. I'm going to commune with the goodness. I'm going to sit at the presence of the feet of Jesus or the Most High Negus. My son said Negus. So everybody needs to work harder. We have all fallen short of the glory. We've all fallen short. People, that's why we should not put labels on ourselves, because we're putting ourselves too high for us to reach. A real true Christian is not in this world, doesn't celebrate Christmas, doesn't do these things. That's a real true Christian if you are about Christ, Jesus. Okay? I didn't see Jesus celebrating these things, but people celebrate these things because of Jesus and use that as an excuse to idolize these statues and putting a tree in your house and decorate, all this stuff. People do that. They fall into line with what's the next trend. Okay, if they say put up a marijuana tree instead, people will all do that, right? If it's legal. So we have to know who we're serving. We have to know who we're crying out to. We got to know that. That to me is important. Like, when I weep, I wept for, humanity. I weep for the people who are lost in this, myrrh. So we see, diseases. Measles, there's a measles outbreak in the western part of Texas. It's the highest in 15 years, this measles outbreak. In 2017, 2016, 15, when my children were in school in Texas, they had a vaccine waiver. I did not want them injected with anything that I don't know that it came from the earth. If it came from a lab, forget about it. So they're blaming the people who are becoming exempt from vaccines. They're blaming it on these people for this outbreak in western part of Texas. So we know that in research is, correlation. When things are correlated, there's causation is not the cause of something correlated. It's not always that way. So as a family scientist, that's who I am. I am a scientist. As a family scientist, I know that when it comes to research and the information that we get as citizens of this wonderful place, it may not always be understood to regular people who are not in academia and do not know about peer-reviewed journals and how research is done and presented and shared with the public. So it's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. We as citizens get the end of the information, how it's going to be and the agenda that it's supporting. Okay? So that is some things I wanted to share before I get into the psalm today. So let's get going with the verse of the day, because the verse of the day really starts us off because it's from 1 John 4:10 about love.
Verse of the day.
So this is a verse of the day.
Verse. Verse of the day. Verse. Verse of the day. Verse. Verse of the day.
The verse of the day. Hey, you ready? You better buckle up. Buckle up and get ready. Oh, Lazarus Project, we're going to have a time. I'm going to bring you on as a guest, and I want to hear what you have to say. So if you want to be a guest on Chant A Psalm, I asked my son to be a guest. He refused. He's like, But I want someone to be a guest so that we can talk about what's going on in reference to how we are dealing with what's going on, and what are our strategies. My strategy is love, and not the way the world loves, but the way the higher love embodies compassion, mercy, grace, forgiveness, long suffering, kindness, serenity, patience. All of that is what this higher love embodies. That's where we want to be. So the psalm today, the theme of this Chant A Psalm today is about, Psalm 88. Yeah. But it's going deeper into what are you crying for? Who are you crying for? What are you crying to? So in the verse today, okay, give you a heads up for when. Okay, let's do it in the rise because I go live every rise. We can do it in the rise next day. So I'll turn on my my YouTube so I can have a guest come in. Okay, and I will do that in the rise. So the verse today, I gotta play my verse today again while I get the notes that the Lazarus Project is gonna, and now you subscribe so I can send you a message.
Verse of the day. Verse of the day. Verse of the day.
Okay. I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable to what is righteous and good and loving, and the most blessed presence of all to be in is Jah, God, Selassie the First, Rastafari, Buddha, Jehovah, Allah, Jesus. It's all just a cacophony and just a cornucopia of goodness, and the differences in that, how different we give thanks, how different we are in terms of our love for that goodness, and the names we call are beautiful. And when we put ourselves against each other, this name is better than that name, and my God is better than your God, and my church is better than your church, we become divisive, and we become exactly what the enemy wants, to take us into places that are not going to produce a flourishing, purposeful life. You want a purposeful life. You want to know. I know people who are 60 don't know their purpose. They're still trying to find that. So where does it begin? It begins with the love. According to 1 John chapter 4, verse 10, this is love. Not that we loved God, but that God loved us and sent love, righteousness, goodness, mercy, kindness as an atoning sacrifice for sinful wrongness. So that one was brought for the purpose of giving us love. Like, oh my gosh. Thank you, 1 John 4:10. Thank you, 1 John 4:10. I love that. Where is my... Oh, here. I love that. Because it really gives us meaning when we look at the translated version of Son, Jesus, Christ. What is all that about? That's righteousness. Remember that was the word that became flesh. And that word we have gone away from. We're talking all kind of bad words. My bad. All kinds of stuff. And we're not using words that are of this ancient, meaningful place. We use words that mean this, and then it sounds like the same thing, but it means something different. Like, what is a confusion? I don't want that. And people get into a confusion with language. I'm teaching a class right now, emerging language and literacy, and we talk about, the origins of language and how language was used in these kinds of ways that's maybe not understood, but gets like an emails, when you email someone, the meaning may be not understood because it's, an email, and it may not get the message across. So communication is important. And it's important to be about the knowledge of what you're doing. And we return to the theme again. Who are you, what are you crying out to day and night? Are you crying out for love of a person that they can't reciprocate, that cannot even, save you because they're imperfect? People are imperfect. We're not perfect. We may forget to do this or forget that or whatever. But taking things personal to the point of someone doesn't care because you're judging, and that's not our job. Our job is to love, have mercy on folks, and compassion. My daughter told me that our supervisor didn't respond to her. He doesn't care. I said, no, we don't know. People might be going through something. Like somebody didn't come to my class, and then they came to my class, and I said, we missed you. I'm not going to judge and say you skip class and you out partying or whatever. I'm going to think about the righteousness first, and do the right thing thought wise. Okay, this student may be going through something. They weren't there. Let me find out. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's happening? Do you need my support? Do you need further information? What is happening? That's where I go. And then it's on them. If they lie, it's on them. It's not on me. They're going to have to pay for everything they respond to me and speak. Okay? So that's what love really is. When there is a sacrifice in place, when sacrifice in this atoning and this word coming into flesh been sent for that purpose, that's the best. I mean, can anybody think of that as the most unselfish thing to do, to send someone that you love, that's your only son or daughter, whatever, into a place that they're going to be destroyed for the sacrifice of the bigger group? Like, oh my goodness. So we have to accept who we are by looking and unpacking that. So that is our verse today from 1 John chapter 4 verse 10. That was our verse of the day. That was a verse of the day.
Verse of the day. Verse. Verse of the day. Verse of the day. Verse. Verse of the day.
That was the verse of the day. Go read it. Go unpack it some more. Look at it again. 1 John chapter 4 verse 10. And look at that Son and that Christ as righteousness and that representation of mercy and goodness, right? Somebody said that to me the other day. That's going to be stuck in their head. And wait till you hear my daily communication. Somebody said that's stuck in their head too. So we're going to get to the word of the day. And that may be stuck in your head now too. But the word of the day, I always like to look at what the word of the day is. This is brought to us by dailyword.com. You can go and find it yourself. It's these little books. It's called the Daily Word. And it's brought to us today by Romans 12:12. And the words today is, communication to righteousness for others. So communication to righteousness for others. How are you going to communicate to God about others? I have to do that myself. I communicate to righteousness on behalf of others who have lied to me, done me wrong, stolen, did this, whatever nefarious activities someone has done to me. I commune with righteousness on their behalf, not for their downfall, but I commune with righteousness and affirm the highest good for all, for that one that I'm communicating to righteousness on behalf of. I want the good for everyone, even though someone may not want it for me, or they have done me something that's totally unforgivable. I will forgive, because that is the place and the presence that I stay in. I commune with righteousness and I affirm the highest good for all. So, in the word of the day today is where is it? The word of the day today is
It's the
communication for others.
word of the day. It's the word of the day. It's the word of the day. It's the word of the day. Word of the day. Word of the day.
So, the word of the day, communication to righteousness for others. Okay. I have a communication to righteousness for women that I'll read in a minute. But when we talk about anger and anger getting the best of us, oftentimes it's something that we have been traumatized in our life. That's where that anger is coming from. And that trauma hasn't been healed completely. So when people are angry, upset, it's some trauma that has occurred in their life that hasn't been fully healed. Now, in order to fully heal that, you have to communicate to righteousness for others. Okay? And for others, pick out people that have done you wrong, okay? And communicate to righteousness on their behalf so that you can be free from the trauma, from the pain, from the hurt, and the result of anger from these things. You'll be free from that. Because let me tell you, the truth shall set you free. Lies keep you chained down. But the truth embodies such a light that it shines into people's depressive anger state and brings out the best attributes, because that truth. But when a person doesn't want to accept that truth, it's going to be hard for that light to shine in that depressive or anger place, because it's not being accepted. So surrender. Surrender to truth. Surrender to righteousness. Surrender to love. Surrender to compassion. Surrender to kindness. Surrender to patience, to serenity. Surrender yourself to these attributes. That way, you'll be able to discern, folks. I know from experience, I didn't surrender to these things. And what ended up happening? I ended up not being able to discern someone's intentions for me. And I got caught up. So, Elsu, thank you so much. Let's put a yellow heart in the chat for Elsu. It begins from within. That's where it starts. And you have to start from within by accepting the truth of what happened to you, the truth of the trauma, the truth of the time, the truth. Thank you, Lazarus Project, for putting a yellow heart in the chat for Elsu. We embrace it. So here is the word of the day. I lift my mind and heart as I commune with righteousness for my loved ones and all who come to me in need of a communication to righteousness. I also bless the world with a communication to righteousness, love, and light. With steadfast faith, I trust the power of my communication to righteousness that's going to be heard. I envision divine love easing the uncertainty and hurt of those that are struggling, suffering, or going through challenging times. As I commune with righteousness for others, I deepen in faith of a oneness with that righteousness and with all creation. Secure, not insecure, but secure in the presence and power of I divine nature. We have a divinity about us. Okay? It's a divine nature we have. And as I commune with righteousness, I envision a world where everyone feels valued and lives in tranquility with themselves and all others. My heart is filled with love and compassion. Okay, compassion is another word I use to represent God. Throughout the day, I keep my heart open. Remember, I said you got to be open to receive and feel the love and light flow outward from me to the world. So, where does it begin? Within. So, this word today, I love it, is brought to us today by Romans 12, chapter 12. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in suffering. Persevere in your communication to righteousness. Talk to God. Talk in your closet. Close the door. Go in your room, in your sanctuary, and commune with righteousness. Tell righteousness all about you. Talk about your flaws. Talk about where you feel you have fell short. Talk about this. And then you're able to embrace all that righteousness has, all of these attributes. So that is the word of the day.
It's the word.
That was the word of the day.
Of the day.
What was it?
It's the word.
What?
Of the day.
I love
It's
it.
the word of the day.
It's the
word of the day. Word of the day. Word of the day.
Thank you so much for joining Chant A Psalm and listening to the word of the day. Oh my goodness, we haven't even gotten to the Psalm 88 yet. Psalm 88, I want to share because it's about our theme. The theme of this day is about crying out day and night. Who are you crying out to? What's happening, right? And are we crying out for others? And that's what the word of the day was, communing with righteousness on behalf of others, not crying about ourselves. We're not in a pity party. We're not going to be in a pity party being, I'm the victim and no. We're going to rise up. We're going to look forward and we're going to stand in love, because the love we stand in is a love that's higher than any love Valentine's Day can give you. Okay? So in verse 1 and 2, because it's in chunks, verse 1 and 2, O Lord of my future salvation, I cry out day and night before righteousness. Let I communication to righteousness come before righteousness. Incline that ear of righteousness to listen to my cry. That is who I want to hear me. For in verse 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, it's a one chunk, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It begins with, for my life is full of troubles. It's full of troubles, and the life that I have is drawing near and near to this dead place, this debtors. And thank you so much, the Lazarus Project, for sharing those kind comments. And in verse 4, I am counted among those who go down to the pit. I am a woman who has no strength. According to the Lazarus Project, I do have strength. But according to the Psalm, this is how that individual is feeling. They're feeling that their life is full of troubles. They have no strength. They're like one that's loose among the dead. They're feeling alone. They're as the slain that lie in the grave. They comparing themselves to someone that's not remembered anymore. They're cut off from folks. They've been put in the depths of the pit. They're in the regions of dark and deep. This wrath is heavy on them. They're overwhelmed with all these waves. They're just like, Selah. Psalm 88, verse 3 to 7 is about all this stuff, right? But then we go into verse 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And it speaks of who is causing this to happen. Who is causing this to be happening to me? My companions shun me. They don't want to call me. They block. I'm on block. They have made a horror. They have made me a horror. I'm horrible to folks because why is this happening? Righteousness is causing that, right? For people to shun me. Remember, your rejection is your protection. So in verse 8, your companions are shunning you. You have been made a horrible thing. You're shut in, so you can't even escape. Your eyes are growing dim with sorrow. Every day you call upon, righteousness, and you spread out your hands to righteousness. Every day you're in this space of the presence of righteousness, right? And then verse 10 is like a question. Verse 10, 11, and 12 is a question like, do you work wonders for the dead? Do the departed rise up to praise you? Like what's happening? Why aren't you coming to help me? Selah. Verse 11 is like, is your steadfast love declared in the grave? Like, is this steadfast love not for me? What am I doing wrong? Like, what's happening? In verse 12 is like another question, like the wonders that you did in the dark, in the depressive state, and the righteousness that was performed in the land of forgetfulness. So these wonders, are they not known? So in verse 13, all the way to 18, it's like, look, I'm going to cry to righteousness in the rise. My communication to righteousness comes to that. And I'm asking, right, why is my life casted away? Why, righteousness, are you hiding from me? Why am I surrounded by wrongness all the time? Why? Verse 15, afflicted and close to debt, financial debt, physical debt. From my youth, from when I was a youth, I suffered, terrors, childhood trauma, whatever. I'm just helpless. This wrath is swept over me, and this assaults that are coming at me, they're destroying me. And then verse 17, it's like I'm surrounded as a flood all day long with the wrongness. I already read to you at the top of the hour, the weather, the flash floods, the federal workers getting fired and rehired. The planes are falling. The Pope is sick. The flu is going around. The measles outbreak. All of this stuff is happening in the world surrounding me. They're closing in on me, right? And in verse 18, it speaks of that righteousness and goodness has separated me from folks. It says, I have caused my beloved and my friend to shun me. My companions have become depressive. They've become without light. So the Psalm 88 ends just like that. That God has caused my beloved and my friend to shun me, and my companions have become a void of light. They have no light in them anymore. So Selah and Selah again. This really goes hand in hand with our word today, communication to righteousness on behalf of others, right? And And Psalm 88 speaks of that in terms of crying out to righteousness and how righteousness is, protecting you. It's rejecting people who are your beloved and your friends to not talk to you. They blocked you. You can't call them to find out how they're doing. They can't, this is what has happened. And in verse 88, we see that in our world, in our life. Yes, I'm telling you, because this is what Psalm 88 expresses to us. It tells us that you're going to find a time and a season where your beloved and your friend is going to shun you. Your companions, they're in a different place without light. They have no light and no truth. Remember I talked about truth and trauma? So that is our Psalm today, 88. I love this. We're at the hour. Oh my God. Thank you all for joining Chant A Psalm A Day and sticking out with me here, because as we finish up, I have two positive things. One of them is daily communication for women to righteousness. And if you're a woman, this is for you. If you have a woman in your life, this is for you. If you know a woman, we all come from a woman, whether they cared for us or birthed us. We all have women in our life somewhere. This is for you. So, daily communication, daily communication, daily communication to righteousness for women, daily communication to righteousness for women. Daily communication to righteousness for women. Okay, you can say prayer. That's what this says. It says daily prayers, but I translate that into communication to righteousness for who? Women. So it's 365 days. We're on day 45. Day 45 is about casting aside doubt. Cast aside doubt. And it's brought to us by Matthew chapter 14, verse 31. Matthew chapter 14, verse 31. Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" Okay. And this is the communication to righteousness for women. Gracious God, forgive me for the times I have wavered, uncertain of your plan. I communicate to righteousness for you, righteousness, to stretch out righteousness's hand and take hold of I, so I may surrender myself to righteousness. Keep I eyes focused on righteousness's glory, like the glorification of that. Keep I heart focused, and our eyes focused, and our heart from doubting your word, from doubting the word. Strengthen I to trust righteousness in all aspects of I life. Amen. Selah and Selah again. That has been the daily communication to righteousness for women. Yep, that was daily communication. Daily communication to righteousness for women. Daily communication to righteousness for women. Hi, Curtis. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining Chant A Psalm A, Curtis. Thanks for that comment. Yes, today is the Sabbath day for some people. Some people's Sabbath day is today. Some are Sunday. Some are Tuesday. In Ethiopia, the Sabbath day is Tuesday. I look at Tuesday as my Sabbath day. So that's personal for you, Curtis. But thank you for sharing that comment. We're gonna go into Master Blaster. What's happening? We're going to go into our lessons, life lessons. Life lessons from the ocean. Life. You can listen again to this live. Play this again and again. Yes, you can. From the ocean. Life lessons from the ocean. So, what is the life lessons from the ocean today? As the Black Mermaid, I bring these life lessons from the ocean because I am the Black Mermaid. And in 2018, I copywrote my story of the Black Mermaid. So, I have my copyright certificate. But I have my Black Mermaid. So, I share some life lessons from the ocean, okay, on behalf of my Black Mermaid. So today's life lessons from the ocean is about beauty is more than skin deep. Yep, no labels, just living. Beauty is more than skin deep. That is our life lessons from the ocean. And I'm glad this came up because a lot of people talk about my beauty on the outside, my beauty on the inside, my beauty and what is beauty. Someone called me Beauty is her name. That was my name for them. Beauty is her name. But beauty is more than skin deep, right? Let's read and see what the life lesson is from the ocean today. With a face that only its mother could love, a lumpfish or lump sucker is an unlikely beast. See that? The male is blue and the female is brown, and both are covered in lumpy warts. Males can be seen in sheltered pools low on the shore, guarding eggs until they hatch. Bigger than most fish you'll encounter in tidal pools, the male won't move, and in fact is stuck to the seabed by a circular suction disc adapted from the fins on its belly. It won't move until its eggs have hatched. It is actually a very endearing fish. So, because it looks this way, you might look at it in a certain way, right? Its beauty is skin deep, meaning the beauty is inside of the fish. The enduring quality of this fish to actually sucker on himself, it's called a lump sucker, to the seabed, and until the eggs have hatched. Like, that's his purpose. So he may look like this, but the beauty of him is inside of what he's doing as a fish. So I love that. Thank you so much. That has been life lessons from the ocean. Life lessons from the ocean. Life lessons. Thank you so much. Let me see another comment. Life lessons. Okay, Curtis. Thank you, Curtis, for your comment. Life lessons from the ocean. What lesson will you take from that? Beauty is on the inside, and like El Sue talks about, where it starts from within. So, Curtis, to rest on your comment, Sunday is not the first day of the strong, because Sunday was used as a worshiping day for an idol and for commerce and for capitalism and colonialism. Okay. Capitalism and colonialism came together and they had a baby called white supremacy. And white supremacy said Sunday is the first day of the week. So because of all the wanting to perpetuate the capitalist regime. So, Curtis, thank you for your comment and thank you for sharing with us how you feel about the Sabbath and that you need to, I would suggest you kind of dig into the historical underpinnings of what you are doing there. So the Seventh Day Adventists, I love all people who are giving thanks to righteousness. I have met some people, good and bad, within the Seventh Day Adventists, good and bad within everything, right? So we have to, find that balance and know that we are powerful, we are blessed, highly favored, and wonderfully made. So that is our day today. I thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A Day and for being tuned in and for being part of the movement. Have a blessed day. Seek the truth. Truth. There's truth in trauma. Have a blessed day, everyone. Remember, you gotta stand in love, don't fall in it. Stand in love, don't fall in it. For real. It can hurt bad. You don't want that. I'm putting this away. Have a blessed day, everyone. Take good care. Remember, stand in love, don't fall in it. See you next time. And we're going to be having a guest in the Rise, the Lazarus Project. Stay tuned for Chant A Psalm A Day, live in the Rise. Take good care.